Hi, you guys, and welcome back to my channel, Country Conversations with Diva D. I am going to be reviewing the Reunions Part 1 special of Love and Marriage Detroit. But before I do, let me go into a little ditty, because I was thinking about my mom, and that happens quite often. And I was wrapping my hair, and I was thinking about how she had stage 4 cancer. So we would go to the cancer center in Jackson. And they thought that I was the patient because my mom had never lost her hair. So we ran into some ladies from the same county that we live in, Worcester County. And lady was from Noxapater. And she was like, I just love the way y'all wraps y'all's hair. You know, I try to keep my hair wrapped too because she had lost all her hair. But I just can't do it like y'all. So I just wanted to throw in a little history did it on why we wrap our hair. Now, it is an African tradition. However, in New Orleans, it became more prevalent because when the race mixing, which was very, very, very prevalent in New Orleans, between them and Maryland, they have the highest mixed race of people because they had decided to carry on the octoroon and quadroon traditions, so they were intermarried. But that's neither here nor there. So in New Orleans, the octoroons and the quadroon women would walk the streets, and the men would be very attracted to them because they thought they were white. And so, in order to separate the octoroon and the quadroon women from what they call the pure lily white women, they would have them wrap their hair. So, being that they would have them wrap their hair, we learned different skills and techniques to wrap our hair. So, I've learned a few, and I'll carry those on with my children. But it doesn't matter if they wrap their hair or not. It's just that I want them to have the skill. But anyway, it kind of comes naturally to us. But back to the review. Let's get to it. Let me go by the looks first. Christina and Brandon. Well, Christina and Brandon are, I think, the Martell and male of this show. I love Christina's dress. I love the color. She looked like an ice princess. However, Brandon didn't really compliment her because he looked like he was going to a Sweet 16 party. He looked a mess. Dr. Latoya and Anthony. I love Dr. Latoya's dress. I just wish she had picked a different color. She's a fair-skinned black woman, so I thought that deep black kind of Morticia Adams, Morticia Adams, excuse me. And she kind of looked dark and deep and kind of evil in that dress. But I like the dress. I just wish she had picked another color. I think if she had picked like a burgundy or maybe a bright red, or better yet, Kobe's color. Yes, or like a deep orange. Now, Kobe's dress. Speaking of Kobe looks great in her dress. Kobe has a nice figure. The dress was flattering on her body. However, I hated the sleeves. What is up with this jellyfish sleeve look? Because that's what old Courtney had on Raw. And it wasn't the sleeve. She had it all up here in her chest, and it just looked like it's about to float off their bodies. I hate it. But as far as the men goes, every last one of those men, including Carlos, didn't have on socks. Ugh! I can't stand it. I know that's a new thing with the skinny leg pant and no socks. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they start off with the Smiths, and they have an 11-year marriage. Brandon talks about his questionable confessions with his artist, and that really bothered Christina, and they were really having deep problems in their marriage because of Brian literally told one of his artists that he did not like Christina. And like with Ralph and Drew, when you're in a marriage and you stop liking your partner, then there are going to be issues. Now, further on in the package, he calls her controlling, and he says that she doesn't know how to talk to people. And I get that a lot as well. I don't think that we don't know how to talk to people, because Christina seems to be very eloquent with her words. So I don't think we don't know how to talk to people. I think that people don't know how to take us. It's a difference. Brian is suffering from that neglect that he had and nourishing. Did I say that right? Yeah. I think he said he wanted nurturing. Nourishing is food. So I was like, nah, that don't sound right. But Brandon is feeling the neglect from his mother. And now he's trying to replace that feeling that he was getting where he needed nurturing. Needed to be nurtured. He's getting that feeling from Christina. And Christina's not his mama. She's his wife. And you don't nurture another adult. She needs to nurture her children. Okay? It's neither here nor there. Now, they need to nurture their relationship, but as far as nurturing their spouse, no, they're adults. You don't nurture your spouse. Brandon is upset still in the package because he was really hurt when Christina said she can't mean a man she want. Christina said she didn't mean that literally. She meant that he needs to know what he has at home, and that is true. Now, the other couples will ask the same question, and Anthony says that, and Anthony is a sensitive man, right? So he says that, they would have had some issues there, and Russell agrees. They both feel like they would have had issues if their wives had told them they could have any man they wanted to. But Kobe is smart, okay? So she says that that Christina was hurt, and she said that in a very hurt moment. So Christina agrees with Kobe on that. Now the Thompsons are up, and Carlos asks Doc if TV interfered in their marriage. She said, no, I feel like it helped our marriage. Everybody talks about the marriage curse. That didn't have anything to do with us. In fact, it made us stronger as a couple, because we all know that Anthony packed up his shit and went all the way to Atlanta seeking a job opportunity with Marvel. If I hear him say Marvel Studio one more time. And he's like, well, she didn't protect me. I didn't feel protected. I wasn't protected with her parents. Blah, blah, blah. Whiny baby. But, I always talking about what kind of man he is. I'm a man. I was taking care of my family, and I poured into her. I gave her the seed money to start opulence, but it was her idea. And then $200,000 was put up to start the business. So Carlos asked Anthony, how much did he put up? And Anthony goes, I put up $150. So, and then she says, and he asked Doc, how much did you put up, Doc? And Doc's like, well, I put up 50. But here's Doc's issue. This man packed up during the panic. And this has been her issue the whole time. She's trying to get him to understand, which I still don't think he understands that, because as Carlo puts it, you was the man with this misogynist push. If Carlos was with a woman and he wasn't gay, then he would be the Marceau or Maurice of his relationship. He probably is that now with his African. because he's a jackass. And he has those old, antiquated ideas on how a marriage should work. Bye, Carlos. Anyway, this woman is trying to get him to understand that when he left during the panic, it was tough on her. She's a doctor. So being that she was, you know, in the thick of the panic, she had no spousal support from her husband because he was living history. And Anthony is selfish, in my opinion. Say what you want to say. She had to relent to him. But again, very selfish man, in my opinion. And Carlos was like hyping it up because he brought home the bacon and put up this $150K for her marriage. Now, LaToya goes on to say, Dr. LaToya, because I'm going to try to respect her as much as I can without, trying to remember that she is indeed a doctor. But Dr. LaToya tries to explain to this idiot, yeah, I said idiot because he makes me sick, Anthony. She's trying to explain to this idiot that during the panic, once the children were not doing homeschooling anymore and they were trying to integrate them back into the schools, that her children were experiencing racism. It seems to me that Anthony felt like this was, oh well, I got 2 boys, let them be men of the house and let them go through the ebbs and flows of what happens in these situations. Now, let me give you a little history on me. I went to it because the schools were just being integrated 10 years prior to me going to school. My first day of school was in September of 1980. Okay? We had just integrated the schools. Now, I'm going to be truthful to you. The Caucasian teachers they seemed to be on kind of like eggshells, so they were more receptive to the black students. And I'm just going to say, than our own black teachers were. I probably had the meanest, most evil, most honorary black teacher when I was in the first grade. And she catered to those white students like we were still in slavery. Yes, ma'am. And I still hate her to this day. And yes, I said, hey, I'm not a Christian, so I can say what I want to say. Okay. Moving right along. And I'm not. I'm proud to say I'm not. But I respect these people on this show because they have this very staunch Christian upbringing. So they're going to incorporate these ideals into their marriage. And that's what Carlos is trying to weave into Anthony and Doc's marriage. But Doc is I would say she's very modern in her thinking, even though she was raised by this bishop. And she feels like that Anthony abandoned his family. And he did. I said what I said. Shout out to Nene. Okay. Then the package for Colby and Russell come up. They didn't really have much of a package because, wow. They concentrated more on that Colby Cat situation and them getting into it at the roller rink than what they really had going on in their marriage. They touched on it a little bit. They had their little communication issues or whatever, but most of their package was spent on Colby and Christina in their argument. Well, Brandon says that he didn't really think that the collaboration was a bad idea. And then Carlos asked, well, where did you get the Colby Cat idea? And he said, it didn't come from me. So that's when Colby was like, okay, then that means that Christina had to be talking to him about it. But Christina admitted, she stood in her shit. And go on, Christina, for standing in your shit. Christina said, yes, I said those things, but not in the way it was presented. I never called her a copycat. But again, in my previous reviews, I see Christina as, even though she says she loves Kobe, but even though she wants Kobe in her world, she doesn't want her into me, in my opinion. She doesn't want her in the world of what they call it, influencer, like where she is. She's kind of like the type of person to me that wants Kobe here, but she wants to be here. And it's not working that way for me because Kobe is bad, baby. In my opinion. Kobe is the better influencer. I think I've said that in my other previous reviews. You look at Kobe's package compared to Christina's package, it's like Christina is kind of lazy with hers. And it's like Kobe is like putting in all the effort. Although I don't like how, and it just goes back into that whole male thing for me. They kind of, to me, gang up on Christina. You know, they go back, like I said, they go back to the skating rink and Kobe says she was hurt. And then when you're in an argument and both people are hurt, why is it that Christina is the only one that's being called selfish here? They both were arguing. They both were arguing about Harper Ray and being Kobe being called a Kobe cat. Then Dr. Latoya inserts herself just like Christina says she does. And when somebody is a third party inserting themselves, that kind of breaks apart the argument and makes it seem like they're ganging up on Christina, which it did look that way to me. Then Brian goes on to say, Brian, why am I calling that man Brian? I'm talking about Anthony. He goes on to say, my wife don't take sides. She take the side of right, Mr. Anthony. And Christina say, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Kobe and Doc. So, well, she calls her Latoya. And he says Latoya as if she should have been calling her Doctor. But these people on this cast are equal. And if you look at Married to Medicine, yes, they require that the outside people call them Doc or whatever, or Dr. Jackie, Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Simone, Dr. Eugene, Dr. Daddy, Dr. Damon Daddy. All of them call each other by their first names when they're talking to each other. Now, every once in a while, you might hear them call them doctor if they're talking to someone outside the group. But 9 times out of 10, they're going to call each other doctor, only in mixed company. Hi, I'm back. I don't know where I was beginning because I'm at home, honey. I record at home, and I still have a home phone, and that little joker was ringing. So I can't remember where I was, but I'm going to pick up by saying that Kobe said she was hurt. I'm going to put it that way. And Carlos asked her, have they spoken? And her and Christine spoken, and she said that Christine haven't spoken to her, and it just really bothers her because if she is calling somebody a big sister or older sister, then she takes it to heart. And Dr. Latoya again inserts herself, and she calls Christine a victim, and she said, "You a victim with your husband, you're a victim with the friend group." And Christine is like, "Do you know what's going on between me and Brandon? Do you know what's going on between us behind closed doors? No, then don't speak on my marriage. Come on, Christina, correct." And she said, "Well, you're definitely a victim in the friend group." And then she's like, "Well, of course I feel like I'm a victim because you're always inserting yourself and you act like you're on her side," which she does. She called Christina fake. And then Christina was like, well, if I'm fake, then what is Kobe? Because Kobe is the one who piped up and ran out. And you wanted me to run after a grown woman showing out like that? Well, it goes into Russell. He speaks his piece, and Russell's like, well, you know, they really hurt us, and we were like bros, and I miss our relationship, and well, prayer gonna fix it. Because that's what Carlos said. Carlos said, all we just got to do is just get to praying, and that's gonna fix everything. And the Lord says, and the Bible says that we should forgive. And Kobe said she's still hurt. And she says the ball is in their court. And but Brandon says, really, the ball is in both of our courts. So Brandon is the voice of reason. Carlos said that he feels like everything can be fixed with prayer and forgiveness. And Kobe said she's just not ready. Kobe, before I close, because I'm getting ready to close, I want to say this to you. I'm speaking directly to you. Even though you ain't going to see this video. Kobe, right here. You are deflecting and projecting your feelings onto Christina. If you want to be Christina's friend, be her friend. It has, and separate. This is my 2 cents here. Separate on becoming influencers together. This is where the issue starts. I understand. Like I said, in the influencer world, even though you feel like it's big enough for the 2 of you, being that Christina had that relationship with Harper Ray already, she feels like you're encroaching. So don't do that. Stay out of that. I can guarantee you that your relationship will be much better if y'all separate the collab. But this is reality TV, so you know we have to have some drama, but it doesn't have to be right there. I agree with Kobe. The influencer world is big enough for the both of you, even though it is small in Detroit. Both of you have your separate Instagram following, and Kobe has more of a following. And if I was into that influencer stuff, I probably would follow Kobe too, because her stuff is bad from the package that they show. So I said all that to say, I hope they get it back on track. I loved Kobe and Christina's relationship. Seems like Doc is on the outside looking in and is siding with Kobe. If Christina and Kobe get their relationship back on track, because Christina and Kobe are the Letitia and Mel at this point, and Latoya is the Dr. Latoya is the Kimmy. If they get their relationship back on track, it's gonna be powerful on this show. But that's the end of my review for the first part of the reunion. I will be back for part 2. I hope you enjoy. Bye for now. And I'm chunking them up. Deuces. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.